So whether you're sitting in a chair or sitting on the ground on a pillow, just take what you need to settle in, feel comfy. If you want to lie down, of course, I won't stop you. See if you can, if you are in a seat, sit up nice and tall. Take any movement in the shoulders and the neck that allows you to just find a place of stillness or a place of rest, a place of ease. And you might even flip your palms up towards the sky. Just feel that rotation in the forearms and what happens across the collarbones as a result. So just naturally, we start to open up the chest a little bit more when that happens. And you can stay here or keep that in the shoulders. And then maybe just consider bringing one hand over the other, one palm on top of the other, and allow that to rest in your lap. So just an option, of course. Take what's comfortable for you. If that doesn't feel comfy and you feel more grounding by taking your palms down or just allowing them to rest where they want to rest, take what you need and take a full breath in through your nose. Maybe that same breathing like before, opening your mouth and just encouraging your jaw to soften on your exhale. Maybe you just start with that part of your body. If you're like me, you hold a lot of tension there. So take a breath in, softening on your exhale. And as you continue those intentional rounds of breath, every exhale, you might find just a little bit of ease traveling through different parts of your body. Maybe it grows to your shoulders, down the arms, to your fingertips, maybe like towards your feet where you feel the ground underneath you or whatever you're sitting on. And so every breath is this opportunity to just become a little more grounded or connect with this moment that you have right here, like one breath at a time, one moment at a time. Sometimes we wander, or often, honestly, we wander away from this present moment, and that's okay. Just use your breath as a way to come back. A full breath in again. And a full exhale. And as feelings arise, if they do, maybe just notice them, become aware of how you are feeling. Maybe you just like label it, I'm feeling blank. Put a word to it. And then know that you don't have to do anything about your feelings or that particular feeling that you've named, that you've identified. And then know that you can sit with that for a breath or two. And remember that just like everything else, that feeling is impermanent, right? So it's not forever. And then come back to your breath. Breathe in and find that ease if you can on your exhale. Maybe by opening the mouth or softening the jaw or softening somewhere else in your body that's holding tension. Breathing in and out. And just a few more rounds of breath with that. And just a little bit of exercise to observe, identify maybe where you're at, and one breath at a time. Either sitting with that breath or just watching that feeling or moment pass. And then again, sit up nice and tall, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And slowly, if it feels okay, chin draws down towards your chest a bit to just lengthen the back of the neck. And rolling your right ear gently over to the right, pausing. And then chin back towards the center of your chest, left ear over to the left. Pausing where you need to. And chin back down towards the center of your chest. And then maybe start to slowly lift your chin a little higher up towards the sky. And then come back to neutral. Look over your right shoulder. And back to center. And over to the left. And back to center. And once you're there, reach your arms up overhead. And you can even interlace your fingers above your head and start to flip your palms up like you're pressing the ceiling away. Stay there or start to look up towards your thumb. One more big breath in right here. And then release the hands down and walk your right hand over to the right. Reach your left hand up to the sky. And just as you tip your torso over to the right, can you reach with the fingertips a little bit more? You can either gaze straight ahead or look up towards the ceiling. One more big breath in. And maybe look down towards the ground. And then slowly come back up, and then you'll switch sides. Walk your left hand over away from you. Other arm reaches up to the sky as you tip over, and you keep at the same time grounding that right hip down if you can. As you reach again, maybe look up to your degree and then look down. So nice. And then you'll come back up. Take your arms out like a T, palms facing forward, just for a moment. And then allow your thumbs to point down so your palms face back. Bend at the elbows and take one hand over the other, one palm over the other at your low back, or either hands to your hips. Okay, both are options. And take a breath in here just to gently draw the elbows slightly back behind you to open up the chest. And then maybe you lift the chin one more time. So nice. And then slowly chin down towards your chest. Start to roll your shoulders forward. You can keep your hands where they are, but think about rounding forward like you would in a cat-like shape, cat pose. And then come back to neutral. Reach the arms out and up towards the sky. Big breath in. Collect the palms together. And then bring them to your heart here. And just take a moment to pause, close the eyes before we start to move a little more. Can reconnect with your breath, full breath in. Maybe even open up your mouth, letting out that sigh or that ease. One breath at a time, one moment at a time. You can stay here if you feel the need to stay in stillness, or you can meet me in hands and knees, tabletop pose to move a little bit more. You can move that pillow if you had it off to the side. And once you come into hands and knees, just start to move the spine in any way that really feels intuitive. So if you're at a loss, like, where do I want to go? Maybe you start with this side to side motion. So thinking of the sides of your ribs here, either side, moving, like creating the letter C in both directions. And then land in neutral. Take a few rounds of cat-cow if you haven't already, and maybe start to move intuitively at first, and then maybe link movement and breath together, if that makes sense. So dropping the belly down, and then reaching the back of the heart up. And just moving to your degree of comfort. Maybe you start to bring the head and the neck into that movement as well, making the movement a little bit bigger. Excellent. And then start to walk your hands up your thighs as you just rise onto your knees. And you can bring your hands to your hips and just step the right foot forward. So you just start to create a little bit more space in the hips here, and just a gentle rocking. So you can keep your hands where they are, and you can gaze straight ahead just for a little bit of balance here. And you can rock the hips forward, like a little more weight into that front foot. And then you can pull back a bit, maybe even pick up the right toes. You don't have to come all the way back, but then just rock forward, rock the hips. Try not to let them sink all the way down, but still feel that length across the front of the left thigh a bit, across the front of the hip. If you want a little more when you rock forward, maybe left hand reaches up towards the sky. And then you rock back. Do that a few more times on your own, just creating a little bit of movement here. And then you'll rock forward. We'll give that knee a break by bringing your hands inside of your right foot for a moment. Start to tuck your back toes, lift the knee off the ground, give it a break. And then just walk your hands along the long side of your mat and parallel your feet. Come into that wide leg forward fold. And you can keep your head, if it feels too much to drop your head down, if that's like too much weight for those muscles, you can walk your hands underneath your shoulders, right? If you have a pillow close by, sometimes you can bring the earth up a little bit higher and bring your hands onto that pillow, or blocks if you have them. And maybe you keep that flat back here, gazing straight down towards the ground, but at the same time, can you soften your shoulders just a little bit? If you want to just forward fold, go for it. Soften the knees wherever you are. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. And really slowly, whenever you're ready, walk your hands back to frame your right foot. You'll drop your left knee down. And you can reach your hands up to the sky or bring them to your hips. Take one more breath in. And then right knee comes to meet the left. Keep your hands on your hips here or bring them to meet your hips. And then take the elbows back slightly to your degree. Maybe lift the chin. Just think about this being a heart opening stretch, but of course, not going beyond that point. And then whenever you're ready, hands come back down to the ground, tabletop pose. Reset any movement that feels good. Take it. And then it's back to that neutral position. Send your right leg behind you. So right leg again, and just let it come behind you and roll the ankle, create space there, fan out the toes. Should feel really nice, move in all directions. And then tuck the toes onto the ground, press back through the heel, get that stretch through the back of the leg. And you can spin that right heel down just to reach the right arm up. And so you can open up here. If that's too much, right hand can come to your hip, of course. Take one more big breath in right here. And then just lower your right hand down, come back to tabletop. You'll walk your hands like before, up the thighs, rise up onto your knees. Hands can come to your hips. Gaze straight ahead and just step your left foot forward, coming into that easy lunge. Doesn't have to be the deepest lunge you've ever taken, of course. So rock forward a bit to feel maybe a stretch in the thigh and that right hip. And then rock back. And that movement can be subtle. And that's enough. That forward and back motion, you're just creating this sort of extension in the hips. We spend a lot of time in flexion. Like our left hip is in flexion right now. We spend a lot of time sitting. We spend a lot of time walking and asking that knee to lift up to make this shape. Rarely do we do what's happening in the right hip, which is finding that length in the front of the hip. So think of it like a back bend, but you're supported, right? So, and if you want a little more, you can reach your right hand up to extend that long line. One more big breath in and out. If you want to rock forward and back a few more times, go for it. If your knee is like no more, you can bring your hands inside that foot just to find that the ground to support you, to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up, and then again, wide leg forward fold, facing the long edge of your mat. Now, if that was too much on the neck, you can always bend the knees. Heels can come in, toes can come out, and you can lift the chest up and just come into almost like a squat like position. This will bring more strength into the legs, a little more heat. You want, you can rock side to side. So both are options, of course. Either that forward fold with the toes facing forward, or bending the knees, heels in, toes out. Hands can come to your thighs. Take a full breath in, a full exhale out. And whenever you're ready, we'll frame your left foot, drop the right knee, either reach the hands up to the sky or bring your hands to your hips. And then left knee comes to meet. the right. Hands are on your hips when you're ready, elbows back, that gentle, gentle lift of the sternum. And then walk the hands forward, tabletop pose. Last round here of cat cow, maybe dropping the belly a bit, lifting the upper back, adding in any other shapes. And then making your way to a seat. And take just a few more seated stretches here. So take your right leg long and the sole of your left foot to your inner right thigh here. Sit up tall on your inhale. And then start to turn your torso slightly, just a slight turn towards the right toes. And then inch your fingertips towards the ground. So you might just stay right here. And that's awesome. The goal is not how far your nose goes, right? So I just want you to think about lengthening through the top of your head, softening through the shoulders, softening through the face. And then if you'd like, think about slightly rounding and then looking down towards the ground. So you feel that sort of like take hold of gravity and like that sense of ease as you fold. A full breath in. Softening ease on your exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Coming up, feel switch legs, left leg long, right foot in. Sit up tall and then turn your torso gently to the left. Inch your fingertips, doesn't have to be far in front of you. And then you round when you're ready, just to let gravity do a little bit of work. To lessen the load a bit. One breath at a time. And then you sit up, legs in front of you, enough space behind you. If you want to grab that pillow for your head, set it up. And then allow yourself to become comfortable on the ground, or if you'd like to take your rest in a seat, in a chair, whatever feels good to you, take it. Any final movements that you might want, maybe it's the roll of the wrists and the ankles, wiggling of the toes, an active sort of movement in the jaw. And then allow it to soften. Hands can be, of course, done along your sides, or it can rest on your torso, somewhere on your body. If it feels okay, allow the eyes to gently close. Remembering that idea of impermanence. Both in moments of challenge and beautiful moments as well. Those moments come. Remember that the challenging ones don't last forever. And the beautiful ones sadly don't as well. But in that impermanence, and we find that sense of ease or comfort, taking the challenging moments one breath at a time, knowing they will pass. And approaching the beautiful moments with a sense of presence, of knowing that it won't be forever. But we notice those little things, those moments of beauty, maybe more often because of it. So one breath at a time. One moment at a time. And slowly just start to find intuitive movement that feels good. Starting to wake your body up from that place of stillness. You can bend your knees if they're not already there. Maybe roll to the sides, pause, and gently press yourself up to find an easy seat. You can bring your hands together in front of your heart, returning to that same shape that you took earlier. Maybe you've noticed a little bit of a shift since you first sat on your mat. Connect with your breath again, this moment, this impermanent moment as you breathe in and out. Taking your thumb tips to the center of your forehead, maybe even lift your chin a bit, lift your face. Remembering to be kind to yourself and share that kindness with others. Namaste.